SK Games. Today we're doing another review on a older DLC. Not actually that much older, but I'm suspecting a good one nonetheless. It's unique in that it's obviously a seaplane that also works on pavement, which is cool because naturally you can see the wheels, but they also go into the bottom of that boat hull, essentially shaped for carving through the water. This is the Mario Noriega Nardi FN-333 Riviera, and I specifically picked that unbelievably bright blue and yellow interior because I thought it was quite unique. I like this aircraft and I'm excited for the capabilities that it can bring to the game, i.e. landing on lakes and all types of runways and things. So what I'm trying to do here is the usual, a rapid review, and I'm checking over the textures, very neat. I like them. This airplane off sale in the in-game marketplace was only $11.99. So it's not going to be study level, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be entertaining. And I am liking some of the looks on this interior. I mean, if those are, they're flush rivets, I believe, on that pillar there in the center between the port and starboard front windscreen there, but that's okay. I mean, they're not the highest texture details, but doesn't necessarily matter because that's not going to ultimately determine whether we enjoy the aircraft or not for the review and the flying. So also, this aircraft has an injected oppose, which means it has fuel injection, and it's also a six-cylinder, 470 cubic inch to be exact. It essentially has an H or a P variant. Both of those engines have an extension to the propeller shaft, as this is clearly a pusher-style propeller, so the thrust is obviously coming out of this engine in the back instead of being pulled like a tractor propeller, pulling us through the air. This one's essentially pushing us through the air. That is absolutely a cool difference in this. It reminds me a lot of the Cessna 337, just minus one engine out front, and the clear boat distinct designs here. Obviously, we have the rudder there in the up position while we're on the land for, you know, uh, taking off from the tarmac, but also we can extend that suspectedly on the water surface there. I suspect that's also the exhaust coming out there on the starboard right-hand side of this engine nacelle tower. And, oh, I like that it's actually labeled Hartzell. Three-blade, constant speed, I believe, propeller. There wasn't very many of these built, and according to, in part, some of the explanations in the store marketplace, they are still around, and people still are using them today. The textures on the tires, they're good. I mean, they're kind of glossy, like somebody, I don't know, either washed them off by landing in a lake or put a whole bunch of tire shine on them because they're pretty glossy. Um, that's cool. I like the strut material, polished metal. That's really specular and nice. The shiny brake line there. All parts look like they've barely been worn on that landing gear. That's okay though, because we like our aircraft in tip-top working order for sure. I am liking what I see exterior-wise, especially for $11.99. Um, Definitely not a deal breaker. Very nice. Certainly at least average for sure. Definitely nothing near substandard. It's more than plenty to dare I say float the boat. Anyhow, let's hop on inside and check this thing out. And here we are. Of course, we're looking for clickable items and things. First and foremost, yes, of course, the doors. Hot air entry for airflow through the cabin. Let's see. As per standard on almost all, if not all, aircraft, removable flight yokes. That's cool. Naturally, I would expect this side to work. Yep, we have both sounds for the door clicks and everything else. That's cool. One thing I want to try with this is keeping the door open while starting it so that we can hear if the ambient noises are different with the doors open as opposed to closed. Let's see, we have the typical. Let me go ahead and just throw on the battery here. We've got flaps, and in the off position with no battery power they were drooping, but now they come up. Let's go ahead and throw down the floats and see what that looks like exterior wise. Possibly might need the engine to be running. That's okay. It is a clickable. That's mostly what I'm interested in now. Obviously, the gear is down. We've got mixture, propeller controls, all the standard avionics abilities to move all of those. Generators, pitot heat, turn coordinator, panel lights, beacon lights, and navs we will throw on. Landing lights, we'll leave those off, but for now, let's just see if we can get some illumination outside, see what those look like. Yeah, kind of hard to tell, but it's nice that they light up on the exterior, the angles of the wings towards the edges of the leading there by the tips. So let's go ahead and turn those off. They do work. We've got a parking brake naturally functioning, of course. I do like that. So we'll set this up for a takeoff. Just going through the range of motions, listening to the sounds, and that's pretty cool. Although one thing I do want to say is check this out. Even though we have no weight in the aircraft right now in terms of the cabin crew, let's go ahead and throw, I don't know, say a 200-pound pilot in here. I want to show you how light this aircraft is and how susceptible it is to weight. Check out how far that squats down in the front. So if you were to remove this and go back to like a 0-weight configuration, see how that front wheel kind of just grazes the ground barely? Yeah, I suspect this aircraft is kind of tail heavy, so naturally, you know, you would want to be within your center of gravity on this while flying it. Just being careful not to actually pull wheelies while you are coming in and touching down on the mains. Anyways, we'll hop back inside and let's get this thing fired right up, eh? Alright, and coincidentally, I do like the textures in the cabin here. So pretty much, yeah, this interior, it's pretty bright, vibrant. Struggling for the words here. Clickability, right? Cabin lighting, that's cool. Obviously, visors, yes, they do move and rotate. That's neat. We've got our fuel selectors here. Very well. And another visor here with air ducts. That's good. Let's leave that door open so that we can hear the sound, hopefully, and attempt to start this beast on up. So let's just throw these left and right lights there. We're going to use our people out here to let us know, especially this guy with the bird's eye view on the forklift there. Nobody's behind us because we cannot see our propeller spinning. So I'm going to assume that we are clear prop because he said so. It just has that look in his eyes. Alright. Magnetos to both. Let's go ahead and give this beast a crank. And let me try to introduce a little bit of fuel here. And let's also check our fuel valves because they may be off, indeed. I noticed that, yes, indeed, they are. I noticed that this aircraft essentially came with weights that aren't usually the weights in the aircraft. This typical, you always have the pilot and the co-pilot. This one actually had cargo preloaded for a weight, so I'm not surprised that the location of the fuel selector valve is in the off position, as sometimes the planes, at least that I hop into, have them in the on position by default. So let's try that again. There we go. It always helps when you have fuel flow. Okay, let's have the throttle up just a little bit here. And what I want to do is listen for a sound change. Obviously with the doors, we'll see if that makes a difference. And indeed it does. I'm impressed with that. Let's go outside. So we're going to assume that we do not need valve seats or piston rings. That's quite a lot of smoke. Although I must say, I would imagine that more than likely is, yes, going away. Possibly cold weather start. We are in the Pacific Northwest. But I was going to say, it's neat how that actually gets funneled into the exhaust due to the suction from the propeller. Appears as though it's gone, right? It's gone. I have to say, I have never seen that before on any other aircraft. So that is a really cool little detail. It's the details like that that I feel make the biggest difference. So I'm going to go ahead and throw everything else on, including the charging whirler there, the generator that is, the pitot heat, turn coordinator. Let's go ahead and throw some panel lights on and everything else that we would use. I'll get the navigation all set up with the instruments, and then I'll get back to you as soon as we are on the active for the taxiway towards our initial departure. And then we will be doing some landing on the water, but that being said, be right back. Okay, and it taxis pretty well, for sure. You can feel the lightness of the aircraft. I also like how the navigation radios and the comm and all that, those stack in the center there for your avionics. I like how it comes pre-off as opposed to on by default. So let's go ahead and go outside. Actually, what I would like to do now that we have power is cycle those floats. Very nice. Sound effects for sure with those. We are not going to take off with those, obviously, in the down position. I have the other Manuel Noriega plane. I'll throw a quick picture on the screen of that in the air. And yep, there you have it. I really like that aircraft as well. It's a lot of fun. Twin engine turbine plane. But that being said, let's go ahead and line up with the active and then head on out. We are taking off to the south today, as we do in Siletz Bay. And let's give it a whirl. First takeoff. Extremely easy to take off. Very smooth controls. How's about that landing gear up? Still in the white arc. Accelerating out. Let's raise a notch of flaps. Beautiful day for flying. Hopefully the water's good. Not going to land in the ocean. Pacific that'd be. Out to our starboard side there. But we are going to make a climbing right hand turn. Reduce the flaps. So far I'm liking what I feel. Let's go ahead and do the standard. We will adjust for hands off flight, and I'll go ahead and actually throw the yokes back on, and we'll get this level flying. Flighting this is very easy. We have a 5 knot wind today, so just about with the white caps on the water, but we're not exactly landing in the perfect storm, so that's good. Climbing out at approximately 1,450 foot per minute. And we're probably at about 90% on the throttle, full mixture, full propeller, 110 knot climb. Above 1,000 foot per minute, not bad. It's that big displacement, 470 cubic inch fuel injected, gasoline powered piston engine. Anywhere between 240 horse from what I gather on the 470H to about 250 horsepower for the 470 cubic inch P variant of the motor. It can climb to 20,000 foot as a ceiling, and if you've got the H motor, it should do roughly about 560 nautical miles, and the P will get you about 672, somewhere thereabouts. And baseline performance confirmed. It's definitely a performer. Let's go outdoors and listen a little bit, huh? Works great. So now what I'd like to do is get down below this cloud cover and get ready to approach for a water landing. First attempt at that. We'll see how that goes. And as soon as we are on short final or thereabouts, possibly even a base leg to final, we'll get right back. See you in a second. Alright, let's go ahead as we are pretty much on a base here. Take those floats. Yes, we are landing right here on this lake. I would consider this my base turn, approximately. Let's go ahead at the white arc top. First notch of flaps. Slow down a bit. We'll make this left hand, and we'll consider the straight on this lake our final. And a little bit of buffeting as to be expected over those trees. We've got fairly light aircraft as we are the only ones on board for capacity today. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce another notch of flaps. Turning final here. Do not want to smoke the landing with a whole bunch of airspeed. So let's go ahead and just make sure we have the clearing ahead of us. As you know, no brakes on the water, guys and gals. Coming in at a fair 70 knots or thereabouts. Chop, but not too bad. And pulling back on the stick is to take the pressure off of the bow. Transitioning from aircraft to boat. Well, here we are. The outriggers are working fantastic, especially with the water physics in this game. Gosh knows. And we are here. Let's test the reverse throttle here. Whew. Do not want to dip down like that. Case in point, it works though. We'll ride our way up with that. And then get ready as well. We'll back taxi the active on the waterway here. Don't get to say that too often, do we? Release some hydraulic pressure. And let's remove this while we are taxiing so that I can see everything here. Naturally, we land with the wheels up on an aircraft that is capable of landing in the water. So let's try the rudder. I'm not having any issue steering with the dual rudder surfaces in the back. Like these warning lights, they're also pressable and resettable. That's really neat function. And you can see it is indeed down. Not particularly necessary, it doesn't seem, for this aircraft's performance in the water as far as taxiing is concerned. But it's always nice to see that feature, as obviously it would be on the real aircraft as well. So let's go ahead and turn about face here, 180. We'll leave the rudder down for now. Let's get our flaps set for a takeoff in water. I'm going to leave them one notch further than they were on land, as there is quite a bit more drag in the water. But does not look like we have any boater commuters out here, so the water space is all ours. Now to take off, we are definitely going to pull the water rudder up, let that go from transient to stowed. We'll leave the floats down, and we'll go ahead and power on up, start heading back towards the airport. Full throttle. Little bit of back stick pressure on the yoke. Little bit of counter aileron. And a lift off at 60 knots. Remove one flap setting. Climbing out at 80, and we'll remove another flap setting. And let's go ahead and remove these floats, huh? Now our airport is not that far from here. Luckily we have this nice water body here to experiment with. And we'll head back. Just as I'm on final, I'll go ahead and resume the video there, and we'll see you in just a short second. Okay, here we are. Just about to turn left and then right. Airport, Siletz Bay, right off of our nose. And we'll experience the first landing together, as I have not done an approach on this aircraft yet. As a matter of fact, this is pretty much, other than doing the walk around exteriorly, this is pretty much a first for me as well. So again, older DLC, but nonetheless worthy by far of a review. Excellent animations. Throw in another notch of flaps. And I picked up the video a little sooner than usual because it's a beautiful cloud-free day out here. And southerly down the coast here, the Pacific Northwest, with all these trees and mountainous hills, it's worthy of a few extra seconds, I feel, on the video. Clear this treetop coverage. Get around the chops. Very stable. And we'll just ease on back here. Tap a little bit of those brakes. Clean the aircraft flaps up. And we'll taxi off at the end. That way we don't chew up our brake pads. So, question is, how is the aircraft? Well, I am simply going to say, even off of sale from the marketplace, or invariably anywhere else that you get this aircraft, even though it's an older DLC, that is not by any means a strike against the Mario Noriega Nardi FN-333 Riviera here. Not by any means. I'm quite surprised actually at how much functionality is built into this aircraft for a sub $12 aircraft, even off sale. If you can get this on sale, gosh, it's an incredible value for money. I mean, the fact that you can literally taxi this on a paved surface, as well as get the functionality, adventurous spirit of the water landings that this aircraft has to have, the very torquey 470 cubic inch engine, the reliability, how about not having to worry on failures or anything, I tell you, I don't know. It's a hard price to bargain. I literally don't think, in fact, you can find a better bargain. Unless it's on sale, this is excellent value for money, without a doubt. Light on the controls, easy to take off in both land and water, easy to land in both land and water. So, as this is my normal, seemingly airport that I like to do my reviews from, I'm going to go ahead and park next to the toolbox trash can guy, as he's always there. Where's our friend? There he is in the yellow jacket. Still doing absolutely nothing for his paycheck. Ooh, I think those two right there are new. They must have known that the Mario Noriega plane was coming in for final approach. They wanted to get a look themselvesies. No problem. Let's hear that extra sound. That's so cool. I love the difference in that. Watch out for that fella there. Okay, let's throw the parking brake on. And let's go ahead and remove the propeller pitch. We'll also take off the mixture. And let's go ahead and just shut our bird on down 100%, huh? Pitot, generator, battery, and exterior view. What do we have here? I'll tell you what we have. An excellent aircraft. So, if you like what you see, again, 100% worth the price. Is it study level? No. But honestly, what does that even mean? If you have a good time, that's all that matters. And this offers adventure on a very cheap pay scale. So, thank you for joining me here at AOK Games. I hope you appreciated this one. If you haven't seen the review before, great on this aircraft. If you have, great. Comment below. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know. Anyways, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.